Hello, everybody. I am cleaning up my stuff. I am clearing out my extra stuff. So I decided to send some of that random stuff to the master of Dungeons and Dragons puzzles, Wally DM, the author of Wally DM's Journal of Puzzle Encounters. I'm just going to send him some extra stuff, which hopefully he will find useful. Number one are these little board game pieces, which I originally thought were chessboard pieces, but no, this is from an actual board game. Obviously, Wally DM can make a cool little puzzle based on these as statues. So he doesn't have that much time for painting, but I thought I would send him some unpainted stuff anyways, because I always felt that furniture is the basis for many of my puzzles. So I'm sending him this extra librarian's desk with the ladder, and the desk itself could just use a quick wash, and that'll be good to go. As well as, so many great puzzles start out with a massive cabinet like this. So this is a decorative cabinet, obviously something that could be the basis of a very nice puzzle. So I'm going to be sending him that as well. For stuff that's not really painted but doesn't really need to be, is this random piece of machinery. With my puzzles, I generally find that little machinery bits are very helpful. So I'm going to send him this one. It's a nice little piece of machinery that will look good on the table. I'm going to send him some flight bases, because I always do a lot of puzzles when it comes to the different abilities and stuff, especially something like the flying disc thing. So you don't need to paint these. They're already translucent. All you gotta do is put them together. And I felt the flying disc one especially would be useful for puzzles. I'm gonna send Wally DM this raft. And I figure it's not the greatest pre-painted thing, but it is in proper scale. And this is from a very small company that did a limited run of these. And, I really don't have any use for it, because I actually crafted my own raft. So I figure he might have use for this for these sort of puzzles where you have to cross the river with different items, or something like that. So some sort of river puzzle. A raft would be useful. So I'm going to send him this raft, and he can just give it away to somebody else if he doesn't happen to need a raft. I thought this dinosaur skull would make a lovely bit of terrain, and I actually have many puzzles based on dinosaur skulls, and I thought that just would look cool on the table. So I'm going to send that to Wally, as well as this magical cannon. Now, people might recognize this as a Skylanders one without the base, and yeah, I think it looks really nice. And obviously, if you're going to have a magical puzzle, a magical cannon certainly can be part of that puzzle. So hopefully he will find a use for that. And some miniatures. I have the old classic Hasbro trap miniature without the base, which I think looks really cool. And I got this from a lot of miniatures where none of them had the bases. So, but I think it looks really nice on its own. And he can always rebase it if he wants. From a different lot, and again, I don't know what he's going to think when he sees this, but I'm going to give him this Cthulhu miniature, because if your players don't understand the weird nature of a puzzle, you can always just throw in an elder creature of some type and just blame it on the mythos. So I'm going to give that to him as well. With puzzles, for some reason, I always think of elementals. So I'm going to throw him these two elementals. And, in D&D stories, you always hear about elementals being used to, make magical devices and stuff like that. So I always felt there's always room for some elementals in puzzles. Powering stuff, making stuff happen. And I always thought this was a great modern D&D miniature. And I actually have this guy in one of my dungeons as a guy who can help the player characters with the puzzles if they're a little bit stuck. So I'm going to send him there so he can be a guide. This young T miniature I'm sending off to Wally because, frankly, I don't like it. So he can find use for it. He can give it away. But yeah, this is like, I don't like this miniature, and maybe he will. So yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna foist this miniature onto Wally and see what he thinks about that. I'm gonna send him a Tressum, a little winged cat miniature, because I think every game is improved with the addition of a winged cat. And I'm also gonna send Wally DM a special item, which I'm not gonna show here. And if you want to know what that is, you will have to go and watch Wally's video where he unboxes this. So I'd like to know what he thinks about some of this stuff. Hopefully he'll see some of the potentials of puzzle projects with these miniatures I'm giving to them. And if he doesn't find any use for some of these, he can just give them away to people he knows as well. So. But again, if you want to see this special thing that I'm sending him that is not shown here, you'll have to go over to his channel and watch his video. I will link that below.